Viewer discretion is advised for this segment of Sancoche because of its graphic nature. I'm here at the Ombú Ranch, which is about an hour and a half's drive outside of Buenos Aires on this cold but spectacular day. And we're here to learn about ranch life. So we're going to meet some cattle. We're going to cook an asado, which is a very traditional form of Argentinian barbecue. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So come take a look around with me now. So we're in Argentina, which is a Spanish-speaking country. Unfortunately, neither myself nor any member of my crew speaks a word of Spanish, apart from buenos dias and adios and maybe one or two other things. So Patricia has kindly offered to be our guide and our translator today. Thank you so much, Patricia.
It's going to be a pleasure.
What are we starting with?
With the branding,
Right.
Those cars are waiting.
They're waiting to be branded.
Exactly.
So
it's
why
compulsory.
Right, okay, because I'm thinking the poor cows, they can't be too into the idea of being branded. So you're marking the cows, why?
Well, to identify them, right? So that the owner can identify it's cattle.
Right, so when they're ranging, they're sort of mixing up with other cattle. Is that how it goes?
Exactly. It's compulsory, right?
Okay, so shall we start?
Yes, whenever you want.
Let's go and do some branding. Right, so this is where the roundup starts.
Exactly.
Shall we get started?
Okay. Buen día, Oscar. Adelante.
El Ombú is in an area of Argentina known as the Pampas, a vast land of alfalfa, wheat, sunflowers and sky. At one time, La Pampa would have been the Argentinian equivalent to the western frontier in the US. And just as the frontier gave rise to the roaming and often solitary cowboy, so too does the Gaucho exist because of La Pampa. If you're faint of heart, then you'll need to close your eyes for what comes next. The castration. Ouch. So after that rather traumatic experience castrating the bulls, we're going to do something a little gentler. We're going to saddle up a horse and maybe go for a ride. Los.
Right, this is Oscar, Mariel.
Oscar, mucho gusto. How are you? Okay, so tell me what the process is now.
All right, Oscar is going to fetch the saddle.
Right.
Busca la montura. And he's going to teach you to saddle your horse so that you can go horseback riding.
I don't know if I'm happy or nervous or what. Can you help me with something?
Yes, of course. Oscar, ¿qué te tiene que poner ahora? Dile para que le
puse la sudadera.
This is what ties everything up to the horse.
Okay.
So that it would not fall.
All right. And the stirrups and things. How tight does it actually need to be? How tight does it need
Very
to be?
tight so that it does not move.
But it's not hurting the horse.
No.
Okay.
No. Of course, we are not delighted. But
So this is looking positively palatial in terms of comfort.
oh yes, it is. Besides, because Gauchos used to travel long distances, so
Right.
they needed to be comfortable.
So a lot of time sitting down on a horse.
Exactly.
Let's try. Putting the hand here.
Come another one over there.
And putting the hand here. Right. Into the stirrup. Right. Okay. Got it. I'm on a horse. Good grief. It's been a while. Come on. So Patricia, what is it that makes the Argentine beef so special as far as you're concerned?
Well, I would say because they feed on pastures, and that obliges them to walk and they don't create fat.
Right, they get exercise then.
Exactly, and castration is another thing because they don't develop muscles.
Right, they don't develop muscles. So, I mean, basically one of the great things that you have here is kind of room and space
Exactly.
for the cows to range. Speaking of space, I know that you moved sort of from the city to the country. Why did you do that?
Well, mostly because I was seeking for peace, and besides because here you get time, which is something really enjoyable. And you don't get in the city all that rush from here to there.
In terms of time, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, somehow here everything is more relaxed. People know each other. People are important here.
Yeah.
And well, they take their time to know the people. So you're just not a number.
It seems to me also that there's something quite natural and age-old about the process that happens here. So that even though, I mean, what we saw earlier today with the castration of the cows, it was kind of intense and felt a little brutal. It feels also like part of the way of things, wouldn't you say?
Exactly, and everything has a reason. It's not just to make cows suffer, right? Everything has to do with the life traditions and ways of doing things.
Yeah, it's quite an awesome place actually. When you look out upon the sort of miles and miles of space, it just gives you that quiet to think and reflect, and a really special place. Thank you so much for sharing it.
No, thanks to you, Mariel, for being here.